So I'm rehanging all the stitches that were attached to waist, that are still attached to waist. This row was previously referred to as hash hash. This has been rehung. Okay. Make sure the stitches are in the hooks before you push everything back to bead. This time I have it. So now the next part is called back part 2. So using the main yarn, we're going to move the stitches from holding position back to working position, one by one. Carriage still on hold. Hang some weights. And one by one, move the stitches back. So to prevent holes and to make sure that you're on track, if you look down at the needle that you're just about to move back into working position, it should have 2 loops on it. If it only has 1 loop, you've gone out of sync somewhere along the line and your automatic wrapping is not going to work. You're just going to have a row of eyelets which will define where your fake raglan or your pretend raglan seam is. That's the only difference. And that'll still fit the same, but it won't look the same. So to avoid holes, you've got to make sure that when moving the carriage from right to left and putting that needle back into work, that needle must have 2 wraps on it, two layers of yarn on it. So all stitches are back in working position, and the next instructions are to knit for my size 43 rows because I'm doing the largest size, that's 20 to 22. So reset the row counter and knit straight after adjusting your weight. Knit straight for 43 rows or whatever is prescribed for you. This is under the heading of back part 2, that's where I am. Okay, that concludes the rows for the back part. And all that's left to do is change to waste yarn and knit 10 rows and remove from the machine. That's all the knitting done in main yarn. It's complete. Okay, so just make sure I've got enough enough weight to hold this while I do it. Okay, 10 rows done, remove all the weight. Just pull down a little bit, and with no yarn in the carriage, just go across. That's it. So what comes off is barely recognisable as something that is wearable. It does have a sort of a sleeve on one side and a sleeve on the other side. Sort of a pocket shape that you can put your hand into. Pocket shape on the other side. These are the rows of waste yarn. They're just visible. They'll be removed. So this is the wrong side I'm looking at. This is the purl side. And there's my cast on edge on one side in cream, and my cast off edge on the other side where I just removed it from the machine. That's it. So turning it over to the right side. There's the cast on. There's what will be the sleeve, though currently it's attached to the body of the sweater. And this is the other sleeve. Put my hand into it. See, it's a nice size. And that's attached. On one side it's free, but on the other side it's attached to the torso or the body of the sweater. And there's my end edge, my cast off edge. Okay, so that will become the back seam. So the sweater, if you are making the sweater, has to have a back seam. You can make that as invisible as you can. You can either, what I usually do is I attach it on the machine, hang both sides, do one row in the same yarn from left to right at a higher tension, and then just cast off with big loops. I find that's tidy enough. If you want to, you can attach it on the linker. Doesn't really make a big difference. It's still visible. There's no real way, unless you graft on the machine, there's no real way of making it invisible. Okay, so I'm happy with this. I'm happy with the density. This was the 4-ply and I knit at T9 on the KH881, and I'm happy with that. I think it looks quite good. You've got to kind of mess around with your tension because it's sideways knit. Sometimes it can look a little bit different. To get the same drape, I think you have to go up in tension no matter what yarn you're using. So you've got to have a little play around with your yarn and see what you can get away with. Before you decide, if you are using yarn that you've only got one go at, before you decide, I would knit your tension square, let it rest overnight, and then hang it sideways and just have a look at it and see if you're happy with stitch definition, the amount that you can see through, the uniformity of your stitches. Just have a look at it and see. It's a little bit different than working from top down or bottom up. This looks a little bit different. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to take the piece, and I'm going to remove the waste yarn from the bottom of the sleeve. That's the yarn that's attached to hash and star. That needs to come out. So I'm just going to cut it under the arm here. Cut that little piece of yarn and do the same on the other side. And then I'm going to pull this end, and that's going to tighten up all the stitches. And if I pull hard enough, it'll all come out in one go, and that'll just free it. It'll spring off. That's the plan anyway.